So it's been about a week now since I've gotten rid of my smartphone and gotten a flip phone. And it's been a really interesting experience because time seems to have gotten a lot longer. Like it feels like it's been like 2 weeks instead of a week since I've had it in my life. I've had to compensate for certain things like having a watch and getting an alarm clock and getting an MP3 player to play songs. So this has been a really interesting experience, and my goal here is to do it for 90 days. And at this point, it's like, because it's so weird, it's like I have to like relearn certain processes that I used to divert to my phone. So this kind of like relearning experience it's been interesting, and at the same time it's also actually had some great benefits on my health life. When I had my phone, I was highly addicted to it, like looking at Instagram constantly, looking at like news and social media and like all these little things, like just staying on YouTube for hours and just not getting anything done. And it's really interesting to have that taken away because I still have my computer and I can still do things from that. I have a calendar to make sure I have like appointments and errands I need to remind myself of. But having a smartphone seemed to be like a total exacerbation of that because of its speed and instantaneous accessibility. So for me, I really like the fact that I've gotten rid of it, primarily for the reason that I'm not addicted to these forms of social media as much. Like I haven't gone on Instagram. I've actually blocked off Instagram and Twitter and like certain websites for my computer as well. And by doing so, it's been like unbelievably like it has re-ingrained my brain with the ability to have a dopamine reuptake without like having to manually get rid of these things and then come back to them immediately hours later. At first, I was scared through this whole process because I thought it would be this really painful experience where I'd be losing a sense of security and like, oh, what if I'm like out somewhere and I don't have a map that I can look up on my phone? And I'm not sure, I haven't actually gotten my flip phone yet, but I would like to see that feature and how it could be applied into this current time that we're in with a phone that was made 15 years ago. So at this point, it's like I'll have to see because I haven't like because of that sense of security you have with a smartphone. It's like you automatically lock into this grid of people around you where you're self-sufficient and you have all your problems taken care of with this device. And I'm not so much interested in this whole like people taking my data and using it for nefarious purposes as much as the feelings I have of when I had that phone and just being totally just immersed in it to this really just painful, unhealthy degree where I'm constantly on it all the time. So we'll see how this goes because right now it hasn't been that bad. Like I haven't been in situations like except maybe I haven't had the ability to use a Shazam app to find out the name of a song that I heard somewhere, or like that was probably the only instance where I was like slightly inconvenienced because I have my laptop and I can sort of take care of things from there. So, it's weird now. I think I'll keep kind of finding these things out as I go through this process. And I like exploring those things because I feel like I've felt so much better than I have in months, if not years, from like even just this short period of time. Like it's been a weight off my mind of having this device in my life that carries so much ability, but at the same time just drags you into it and kind of like almost like a Fight Club thing where it's like the things you own end up owning you. And for something as advanced as a smartphone, it really takes your, I don't want to say freedoms, but it takes your sovereignty away in a sense. And like by experimenting with this process and drawing a line, I'm sort of like, I feel just better within the chemistry within my own body of how the dopamine and like all these chemicals are interacting and actually rising up because they're not being drained as much from looking at all this social media and having that instant gratification all the time. But we'll see how it goes. We have yet to see any problems that I'll be having without having a smartphone because I usually can take care of most of what I need from a computer. And I don't know, like it's been, I feel like if I had any advice for people that wanted to do this and like more importantly raise your depression, because that's one thing my smartphone was taking away from me is my ability to get away from those feelings of anxiety. Anyways, thank you guys for watching, and we'll see how this process moves along in the coming months.